Would you all indulge me for a second and close your eyes? Think of New York City. You can probably see the yellow taxis in Manhattan, hear the honking, maybe even feel the energy of Times Square. You can open your eyes now. Now let me ask you, have any of you actually been there? Chances are, many of you haven't, but you know it. Why? Because movies and television have framed it for you. If you still can't visualize it, it's okay, because most of us need the help to see it and then to believe it. That's why filmmakers like myself exist. Film is more than entertainment. It's a time machine. It's a map, a blueprint, I would say, for things that are, things that were, and some things that have not yet come to pass. Film doesn't just reflect reality, it creates it. The video I'm about to show you next is of an Indian actor, N.T. Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy is at a premiere of his film, and he comes out at the end of the film, and let's see what happens next.
Surprise! Surprise! Nachinda! Sir!
That was the movie Love Ready, in where Ramaswamy plays a villain, quite well, I must add. For in that moment, the lines of reality and fiction was blurred for that audience member. For those wondering what happened to Ramaswamy after, he was completely fine. It's one of the biggest compliments you could give an actor. If film has the power to shape the way people see people, the way you see a city, what about a country? Why aren't we using it to shape our own future? And how do we do it? Well, there's 3 steps to that. The first step is to visualize. The Simpsons predicted smartphones, smartwatches, even political events. Think of sci-fi films that imagine AI decades before it became a reality. Like a 2001 A Space Odyssey, a film by the legendary Stanley Kubrick, which was based by the book of the same name by Sir Arthur C. Clarke. What gave Sir Arthur C. Clarke the idea to write the story of our potential future? Just like most writers, he observed the world around him, which happens to be the country I'm standing in right now. A country that has stories about ancient aliens and galactic travelers. When Sir Arthur was asked why he chose Sri Lanka of all countries to call home, he said something very peculiar. He said, Sri Lanka offered him the calm that he needed to visualize the future. When Kubrick translated Sir Arthur C. Clarke's work into film in 1960, I mean, this changed our future forever. How far has AI come? Are we ready to travel to other planets? It's happening as we speak. They created a new matrix in our minds. Film doesn't just reflect culture. Film creates it. It also influences it. But to do this, it takes the next step, which is will. Because every challenge that exists will try to stop you from creating that film. A great story of the power of will. There's this young filmmaker from Sri Lanka, and he's looking to produce a film. And he aims high. He's got vision. He aims high. He aims Hollywood high. But he gets rejected immediately. But he had a weapon. He had will. Even though rejected, he planted seeds with these producers that he met. He told them of a little island in the Indian Ocean that might be worth a shot for their next project. Sure thing, Slick, as they closed the door right behind him as he walked out. But one day, he gets a call from a producer, and the producer of a Hollywood film. And he asks a question from our young filmmaker. It seems most of the production will be done in India. Okay. But since you mentioned you can get things done in Sri Lanka, do you have a gorge? A gorge? Yes, a gorge. Yeah, totally. We have so many gorges. Great. Steven Spielberg and I will fly to Sri Lanka tomorrow to see your gorge. The young filmmaker did not know what a gorge was. In synchronized fashion, a friend in the Air Force called the young filmmaker and said that day, "Machang, don't worry. I fly past the gorge every single morning. I got the best one for you." Long story short, the producer and Spielberg loved the location so much they decided to shoot the final action scene of their film in Sri Lanka. But it didn't end there for the young filmmaker. They were at the hotel lobby, and he would overhear the producer talking to his set designer in India. "What do you mean India doesn't want us to talk about certain things in the script? This is a movie. We want to say what we want to say." Overhearing this, the young filmmaker walks over. "Excuse me, Mr. Producer, sir. Sorry to interrupt. But in Sri Lanka, you could say whatever you want, do whatever you want." Just putting it out there. India, the location of the film at the time that it was being shot at, obviously had a lot of issues with the script, so the producer calls his set designer, and he says, "Let's move the entire production of that particular scene in the film to Sri Lanka." And what happens there? We have Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom filmed right here. And as you can see, it's a beautiful gorge. The picture you see here is of Steven Spielberg with that young filmmaker who had a dream, with that young filmmaker who had will, Chandran Ratnam. This opened a flood of films and reality shows in Sri Lanka, which was awesome, right? Everything was looking great. But the rising industry was brought to a halt at the start of the 30-year conflict. Before I tell you the next step, I must tell you our biggest problem with growing any industry. In 2021 to 2025, Sri Lanka experienced a notable trend of youth migration, some call it brain drain, which has had a significant impact on developing the film industry and economy. And to be honest, I don't blame them. What takes 2 steps to achieve somewhere else in the world takes 15 steps to achieve in Sri Lanka. Which brings me to step number 3. There's choice. There's an unconscious belief that we, the youth, because I'm young, do not have a choice in shaping our country. I'm not taking away from the recent realities of war, natural disasters, pandemics, and economic crises. But if you really want to change it, there's a choice. Will you choose to stand your ground when everyone around you moves? Will you choose to venture into the unknown? Because some of us have done it. I am a fractal of what Sri Lanka can look like. I have spent the past 10 years pouring myself, and I mean pouring myself, to rebuild what was started many years ago. Everyone told me, "Jason, you're mad. You're mad to drop out of school and pursue a career in film in Sri Lanka, of all places." I needed to believe in a stronger, more developed Sri Lanka. I developed the will to flow with the existing system. This was the existing system.
Hi, I called before. I'm calling to see if I can find out some statistics of the films filmed in Sri Lanka.
Are you
since
called
the-
out, please?
Sure.
Hello?
Hi, I'm calling to find out some statistics of films filmed in Sri Lanka. I'm wondering if you have that information. Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Basically, I'm just looking for very simple information. I mean, this is supposed to be on the website, but I don't think the website is updated.
No, our website is not functioning.
That conversation went on for way too long. It's not that I want to expose it. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying or showing here. But I wanted to have a better understanding of where we were at. I needed to visualize a new and more efficient microsystem, building a house that could contain me. Because I have so much life running through my veins, going to waste. Was that a Robbie Williams song? Yes, but that's not the point. 15 years ago, dropping out of school was a choice. Hosting a teen show was a choice. So I can make money to fund my videos. Developing skills on YouTube, having fun with my friends, really showcasing something different from Sri Lanka. We started fostering methods like guerrilla filmmaking, which means you can do the same thing that 10 people on a set would do, but you're doing it with 2 people instead. We started to get noticed for what we were doing with our nation's brands, from fashion films to sports. Man, the creativity just flowed. We were so happy that we could represent our culture to the rest of the world. But to be honest, it takes will to run a film business where creativity is not prioritized, but price is. I've endured all this because I had will, just so we can take control of Sri Lanka's storytelling with our newly formed production companies. We started helping corporations produce films that celebrated our Sri Lankan culture, yet keep to an international standard. We started developing shows that showcased Sri Lanka's rich history. And I even was able to showcase part of our indigenous tribe in one of the shows that's in development, which is awesome. I got the opportunity to work with my friend Asanka and direct a short of what Sri Lanka would look like in 20 years called 2048. I built a space where young talent can thrive. We invest back into these interns so they have a space that gives them the opportunities they're searching for. Opportunities to help them grow, opportunities to make mistakes, and I mean a lot of mistakes. But to build their filmmaking skills and then contend with the rest of the world right here from Sri Lanka. The internship is obviously free. They come, they learn for 1 month, they fly into the world. I do this, and I want you to understand, I do this because I believe they help create value and a standard for our film industry. I would be a fool to think that I can do this alone. The choices I've made, the will I've cultivated, the vision I hold, these are the same qualities that you have. What if you used these 3 steps, visualize, will, and choice, with intention? What if we created stories that framed Sri Lanka not as a place recovering from the past, but as a hub for film? Pretty cool, right? How many of you here have kids or nephews or nieces that are heavily influenced by K-dramas? Show of hands. It's quite a few. South Korea invested in its media industry decades ago. Today, it exports billions in films, music, and culture, K-pop, Korean fashion, all that good stuff. Tourism exploding because of its films. Now, can we do the same with Sri Lanka? What if we created an industry so strong that instead of seeking opportunities abroad, the world comes here for creativity, for innovative film methods with AI and storytelling? It's a bloody mad thought, isn't it? I can walk you through the next steps, of course, like reaching out to the government, granting tax incentives for foreign films to be produced here, ethical film location and destination filming, all of that good stuff with film schools. This can be developed with the current system. The overall investments from a foreign production may improve local facilities in a particular area, and not to mention the global exposure of our culture. Sounds great, right? Right? Wrong. This system, no, I really mean this system dies without you. You are the ones that can invest time to see it through. You don't have to, honestly, even be in film to help us grow this industry. We together can change that narrative. If you're a local corporate, open up yourself to creative storytelling. Be open to experiment with what's outside the norm. This helps elevate our current look and feel of video storytelling. If you're a member of parliament, call me. For decades, others have told their stories. Others have decided what Sri Lanka can look like to the world. And if we don't take control of our own narrative, someone else will. We have the tools to do that now with AI. Some of you might have noticed that I use AI to help you visualize the past, the present, and future. We're on it. Not a day goes by where we don't keep up with the evolving AI world to help elevate our storytelling. It is a gift. Why not wield it for good? This is Sri Lanka's chance to create a new reality. What I do in my own life, in my own art, is a reflection of what's possible for an entire industry, for an entire nation. How will you choose tomorrow? Will you embrace the madness that is Sri Lanka? And together, if we're bold enough to visualize it, mad enough to speak it, maybe, just maybe, you can make it real. So now I ask you once again, would you close your eyes? And let's visualize and imagine Sri Lanka in 20 years. You can open your eyes again. Thanks, everybody.